So today we have an exclusive opportunity to speak with Piper Moretti. She has a comprehensive presentation for all of us. She is a broker at she's a realtor at eXp Broker, and she's also the CEO of the Crypto Realty Group. So she has a lot of information to share. So if you could either hold on to your questions or maybe put them into chat, in about 45 minutes, we'll try to get to all of them. But Piper, is there anything else you'd like to add or tell us? How did you get into this space and what is it?
God. Okay. Well, how I got into it, I'll tackle that first. I'm in the South Bay. I work out of Redondo Beach, but I cover all the South Bay pretty much and little parts of LA. And I had a buyer just randomly find me online through realtor.com, and they just wanted to take a look in the area, looking at $3-4 million homes, which is about average around here, at least in Manhattan. And we hit it off. We saw a few homes, and we found one. And he goes, oh, "Okay, great. I'm going to buy this in Bitcoin." And I thought, okay, great. This is either he's completely nuts or he's serious. And it turns out he was dead serious. And we just I kind of talk about it in my presentation a little bit, but long story short, we made it happen. And then after that, he was an investor and he was very high net worth. And so we went on to do 3 more. So we did 4 total with him. And then I did another one outside of that relationship up in Santa Barbara. So I did, then that was in the scope of 2017, 2018. And then it was just, I guess word got out that I did all these transactions. I didn't think it was such a new, I'd heard of Bitcoin in like back in 2009, and I really wish I would have invested then, but I kind of put a pin in it and didn't really think about it until then. And at the time we did this the first transaction, it was only at like $750 or something. It was just, and I thought then that was a lot. I'm like, oh my God, I'm out. There's no way I'm going to invest in this. But yeah, word got out that I did all these, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to hear about it. So I kind of just became this speaker, and for me, it was like drinking out of a fire hose, and it's going to be like that for you guys too. And like I said, I apologize in advance, but we can, like I said, we can always follow up, with questions, because at least I'm going to get the wheels turning, and you'll kind of see how the puzzle pieces fit together. And with a little bit more research, I'm going to give you like a whole list of websites to check out if you're interested. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I was on the speaking circuit for a couple of years, and then 2020 hit, and here I am. Back into it. Oh, you're muted. There we go.
Cool. So do we have your presentation, or should we do a screen share with this?
Yes, I've got it ready here. I can do a screen share. Let's see. Screen 1. Oops, share. I'm so good at this. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, I need to move you guys over here. And then you're going to keep an eye on the chat box, right? Okay, great. I know I'm going to get a ton of questions, and we'll get to title, we'll get to escrow, we'll get to all of that, but I'm going to give you the basics first, okay? And then we'll just kind of go on from there. So this is my usual presentation. This is what we're going to cover today. What is blockchain, how crypto is converted, the payment processors we use, the escrow process, cash and wallet transactions, and then what's going on in the very near future. And this is just a little bit about me. You can look me up on LinkedIn. So I've done 5 transactions to date. I am with eXp. I am the LA chair of the LA chapter of the Los Angeles chapter of the International Blockchain Real Estate Association. We're hoping to have more events as the year evolves, so we can bring people in and educate them a little bit more. We're all about the education. And then I've, spoken at Inman, and I've, been in a ton of, of print. So anyway, so okay, so what is blockchain? If I'm just going to go on a limb and assume that everybody's really new to all this. So if you Google blockchain, these are the buzzwords that come up. It's a distributed ledger. It's decentralized. It's immutable. What does all this mean? The distributed ledger means that there's no central server. So you have your, like a bank, let's say, that's a central server, and then we can do ACH transactions. But it still has to go through the bank if I'm going to pay Candace $100 for, drinks that we had the other night. So, so it still has to go through a central party. Now, if I were to pay her in Bitcoin, it doesn't have a centralized place, to do the transactions. I'm going straight from my wallet to her wallet, and that's it. And it takes a matter of seconds, not a matter of days. And decentralized. It's another thing. That's exactly what it is. There's no centralized server, like I said, and it's immutable, means that the records are timestamped and they cannot be changed. You can update it in another block, but you can't change the information that's already there. And it is used as a digital form of record keeping. It's been legalized in many states. I think a few years ago it was only just a few, but now most states are adopting this as a digital form of record keeping. And a big difference between crypto and blockchain is that you can have blockchain without a token, which would be like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but a token must have a blockchain in order to perform its functions. Am I going too fast? Okay, good. I just want to make sure that it's like all, hopefully crystal clear. So I really like this infographic here. You've got the the blocks here on the blockchain, and these are all the elements that go into creating a block on the blockchain. So you've got the miners who are verifying the transactions. Then that goes to a consensus, and everybody agrees that I paid Candace $100 in Bitcoin. And then a hash is created, which is basically the code that references the transaction, right? And it's immutable, like I said, and it's a P2P network, which is, decentralized. And I can give you these slides too. So, all right, so what is crypto? We kind of already know, what it is because of all the buzz that's going around Bitcoin right now. It's a virtual currency. Bitcoin is the most famous. Bitcoins are unlocked and added into the circulation with every verified transaction on the blockchain. So that's where the miners come in. It uses encryption to maintain security and prevent abuse. So fraud is minimized, almost non-existent. And coins are, there's Bitcoin, which was the first one. It's the main one, so to speak. And then everything else, they're called altcoins, lovingly. There's a lot out there. There's like 10,000 coins out there that are just, some of them are just nothing. And then others are, pretty legitimate, like Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, all that. And then there's also, and this is a whole other topic that, I won't go too far into the weeds with, but there's a security token versus a utility token. A security token is where the SEC comes in, and puts down their regulations. Utility token, not so much. Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities. They're property. So that's the difference. But the IRS still likes to have their capital gains, and we'll get into that a little bit. All right, so Bitcoin, like I said, virtual currency. It was the first to be created, and it's definitely the most popular. It's kind of like, if Bitcoin's up, most everything that, kind of circles around it goes up, like Ethereum, Litecoin, those things, they're kind of like the main ones. It's kept on a public ledger. It's proof of work, which is, it takes a lot of computing power is needed to mine Bitcoin, which is kind of it's really the bad part of Bitcoin mining, is that it's not green whatsoever. It's actually quite horrible. It just takes so much energy. But the good news is there's only 21 million coins in existence, and a little over 18 million are already released. So that's going to be driving the value. So once all of these coins are in circulation, that's it. And then you know, there's always FOMO, fear of missing out, right? And so that's, like I said, that's going to drive up the price. And people who are way smarter than me in the space are going to be, they're saying, oh yeah, it's going to be, you know, 6 figures by the end of summer, and then it's going to maintain that by the end of the year. So this is not financial advice, but you know, if you are an investor, it's going to be good. So Ethereum, this kid, his name is Vitalik Buterin. I think he's 27 now. Just a few days ago, because of the Ethereum run up, he's one of the youngest billionaires in the world now. But this kid came along and looked at Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain, and said, oh, I can do better than that. And so he created a new blockchain, as you know, an 18-year-old kid does. And he introduced smart contracts. And Ethereum, like I said, is a utility token. It's only been around since 2015, but you can lay applications on top of it. And it's not just a digital currency like kind of Bitcoin is. And it's proof of stake. So it takes way less computing power than Bitcoin does. And then, but they will keep adding tokens to the marketplace. They add about 18 million a year. But still, it doesn't seem to affect the run up, at least right now. And there's no issuance limit. And we'll kind of get into smart contracts here in a little bit too. Okay, so this is probably what everybody wants to know. How is it converted so people can buy houses with this? So it's held, we have to hold it in a payment protocol compatible wallet. Say that 10 times fast. So that the payment processor like BigPay can see it and do their KYC protocols and just, you know, make sure it's there, verify it, make sure the seller's not, you know, some, you know, crazy czar drug dealer from, you know, they just got to make sure that the money's clean, like we would a regular transaction. So then a third party, like an escrow company, they would send an invoice through BitPay to the buyer. The buyer has 15 minutes to pay that invoice, or else the link expires for security reasons. So they've got 15 minutes to pay, and whatever Bitcoin is doing at that moment, they send however many Bitcoins it takes to buy, say, $1 million condo, and that price is locked in. So that volatility is no longer an issue. And this is payment, this is Bitcoin to cash, or crypto to cash, I should clarify. So yeah, so the buyer sends Bitcoin through a public key address, that would be his Bitcoin address, and then BitPay converts the Bitcoin to fiat, which is government-backed money, and they charge a 1% fee for that. And then it just becomes regular US dollars. It's a wire transfer. They just wire it, you know, to the escrow or the third party or the attorney. And then there's other methods too. There are a lot actually now. There weren't when I started doing this. There are banks out there that are starting to look at this. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do a wallet to wallet right now and still remain legal and, you know, with the good funds law and compliant and all that fun stuff. So this is kind of, you know, where the puzzle pieces are trying to fit together. And yeah, and then there's hybrids. I've got lenders down here in the South Bay who they're more than happy to count crypto as an asset. And maybe somebody wants to do a down payment in crypto and then finance the rest. They're willing to work with that. So this is my slide. BitPay does not pay me for this, but this is why we use it, because I get this question a lot. They're one of the best out there. They are SEC compliant and they're registered with FinCEN. They do all kinds of checks and balances of verification to make sure that everybody's on the up and up. The former chairman of the SEC is a board member. They work with all government agencies. They have open books. They are able to convert to 8 different fiat currencies and then direct deposit in 30 different countries. They've got amazing customer service, which is like really hard to say, for a lot of companies now. I mean, forget, blockchain crypto companies, because it's like if you've got a problem with anything, like, you're on Coinbase, or let's say you've got a problem, maybe the UPS guy is here. So yeah, I mean, you're never going to get a human. So I have a direct line with them. If anything goes wrong, they're there to help. They do charge a 1% fee, regardless of the amount exchanged. It could be a $500,000 condo or a $5 million house. It's still going to be 1%. And that's my caveat right now. I'm trying to, like I said, find ways around that without it's just so expensive to do business with them, especially if you've got, millions of dollars you're dealing with. And like I said, the Bitcoin price is immediately locked at the time of transfer. Now, they came out with this new rule, I think it was a couple of years ago, I think. Anything more than $3,000, they require further verification, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, if you have a serious crypto buyer and they've got a ton of crypto and they want to buy a house, they have no problem opening up their books. So there's that. All right, so I'm back into my first transaction. It was nuts. So we're trying to buy, at the time, the house, it was in Manhattan Beach, and it was, I think, 3 million, somewhere around there. And the escrow company, they were like, no, we're not going to touch the funds, but we'll do everything else. And so the seller's agent thought that we were trying to scam everybody. And so we had literally a roundtable discussion with the CCO from BitPay, who was awesome. He just happened to be traveling through LA back up to Silicon Valley. And the seller, who was kind of young and hip enough, said, yeah, I'll open up a BitPay account. You can just transfer the money to me. And the escrow company agreed to that. Okay, fine. And then 7 days before we were supposed to close, the escrow's attorneys got a hold of everything and kicked us out, because they didn't want to have anything to do with this nefarious internet money, that only criminals seem to use. So we were scrambling around trying to find a new escrow. We found one, but during the escrow process, Bitcoin spikes to from I don't know, it was like I said, 750, and I think it spiked up to maybe 1,200. And so my buyer, who already had a ton of this stuff, had even more now, and he said, I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini. And so he went down to Orange County to the Lambo dealership down there, who takes BitPay. And I said, okay, great, just obviously bring the car back, bring the bill of sale back, tell me who you talked to, give me their number, every bit of information you can. And so with that, the Lambo actually helped us get this house, because we could now prove that we could get buy high ticketed items with this crazy money that was out there. So yeah, and we closed on time, but not without taking a few years off my life. So yeah, like I said, other options. We can use third parties. I have an escrow company down here, just a couple minutes away from me actually, who works as a sub escrow. They have a BitPay account. They will work with any title company in the country and get the deal done, through them. But they must have tier 4 processing. And then we have a crypto bank that we're trying to, like I said, work things out with. Cumberland has been around forever. They're the guys that backed Coinbase, back in the day. So they've been around for about 30 years, and they've had a crypto arm, I think, for maybe 10, they said. And so we're trying to work all this stuff out where there's not a 1% fee, and it's wallet to wallet. Collateralized loans are huge now. You don't have to cash out. Whereas, a few years ago, that's the only option you had. So yeah, you can take a loan against your crypto. They take your private keys from you, and you don't have access to it, but you can get, 70% LTV. The rates are a little higher, obviously, but it's still an option, because then, if crypto goes up, you can pay off your loan with your dividends. And then, there's wallet to wallet. And a friend of mine just completed one in Florida, but boy, it took some doing. So then the escrow process. This is, like I said, we're just talking Bitcoin to cash. Sometimes the funds are exchanged outside of escrow, like my first two, I believe. Excuse me. And it's treated exactly like a cash transaction. You know, title and city transfer taxes are the same. Everything's the same. The cool loophole about this, because I get this question a lot, like, okay, well, why don't they just cash out, season it, you know, and then buy? Well, that wasn't an option for my first buyer, because we found a house and he had the crypto and he didn't want to. Everything was now, you know, we all have those clients, and that just, you know, this wasn't an option, and they don't have to be seasoned, turns out. Proof of funds can sometimes be tricky. The platforms now are getting a little bit better about showing your name, you know, and you can verify your information and all that. So you can take a screenshot of, you know, like kind of like a bank statement. You can do all that. But my very first transaction, my buyer literally took a selfie of himself in front of his computer screen. And what was I going to add to that? Oh, and then of course BitPay can verify. You know, they're on the phone with the buyer, and you know they're verifying the keys and they're verifying that the money's there. So there's all these checks and balances and due diligence before even. So and yeah, I've got 2 escrow companies here in California that make the process so much easier. Yeah, so again, this is what we're trying to figure out. So, my buddy that I had mentioned that did the transaction in Florida, it never, you know, nobody would in the right way would ever recommend this, but this is how it happened. The attorneys pulled the preliminary title reports. They agreed that, you know, that everything was okay there. They did a wallet to wallet transfer from, you know, the buyer to his trust account with his attorney, and then to the other attorney, and then the seller got the proceeds from that. And they all knew that, you know, these were savvy investors, and they all knew, you know, that the volatility was real, and they agreed, okay, you know, if it goes down at the close, that's, you know, that's on the seller, you know. And then as far as title is concerned, the buyer, since it was kind of a cash transaction, once the title was conveyed and transferred, I should say, the new owner just went into the title company and said, "Hey, I need some insurance here," and that's how they got around it. And then, yeah, I mean, there's taxes that also, you know, vary by county and city, and you know, our job. I literally just had a meeting this morning with a title company and an attorney. It's our job to educate the regulators, you know, about the good funds law, and you know how this is it's good funds, you know. So it's just there just needs to be a little bit of change happening with all that to make it a little less nefarious sounding. So so yeah, there was a case study in Orange County actually a few years ago. It was a $10 million property. It was purchased for Bitcoin, and the city stepped in and said, you know, the purchase price had to be shown or had to be recorded in fiat. And so the buyer and seller exchanged $1. And then the city sued for the taxes based on the purchase price, which was 10 million, because of course they're going to want that. And the buyer, I guess, you know, just had all the time in the world and all the money in the world. And he said, okay, yeah, we'll go to court over this. And so it dragged out for months. And then the city just settled for like a fraction of what they were supposedly owed. So here are the big items. Like I said, I didn't want to get too far into the weeds with this, but this is all the disruption that blockchain technology is going for right now. Tokenization is, I get so many emails about this. It is a fractionalized ownership, kind of like think of it as a digitized REIT. There are companies that are doing this, Realty.io, Vertalo. There's another company called Rieno that have been pretty successful doing it. But I will tell you, the guys at Rieno said that they spend about 70% of their time dealing with the SEC on this. And it's great, you know, if you have a huge fund and you've got the time and the money to do this. And hopefully the payoff will be good. Now there's NFTs, which are a little different. They're way less expensive. They're kind of all the rage right now. They're not necessarily under SEC regulations, but I have a really bad feeling that the SEC is going to come in at some point, especially if it gets down to real estate, like real estate, not virtual real estate. They're going to want a piece of that. And I work closely with a company called Proppy. They do transaction and offers management on the blockchain. And then they also do title conveyance on the blockchain. And they do an actual QR code on the deed where you can just hold your phone up to it and you can see the code on the blockchain and you can verify that it's yours and the record is there. So yeah, and then there's escrow and title, which we're working on. It is blockchain is, like I said, a legal form of record keeping in most states now, including California. And wallet to wallet transactions are coming. We're just trying to work it out. So here are the major changes. So I mentioned smart contracts earlier. They are on the Ethereum blockchain. And smart contracts are programmable rules of the transaction and automated workflow. The margin of error decreases. So say you've got a transaction with all of our disclosures, they can all be up there on the blockchain and in smart contracts, let's say. And we're not emailing PDFs back and forth anymore, but it's not they're like all the checks and balances. They're not going to let you skip anything. You can program the rules of the transaction in there, and just by default, it's going to make sure that everything has been followed. You can't move on to the next contingency until the first one's been completed. Let's say, for instance. Way faster escrow timeframes. We can close in days. It's public and decentralized, and it can be verified immediately. That alone, I think, is worth its weight in gold. I had one transaction. It was just a regular transaction, but I'm emailing the PDFs to the contract to the lender, and they were supposed to call the appraiser, and we're getting close to the appraisal contingency cutoff. And I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't, we get busy, and I'm like, wait, I haven't heard from anybody. What's going on? And so I call the lender, and they're like, oh yeah, well, we never received anything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So, and it turns out it was sitting in my folder, my outbox, because the PDF was too big. And I never knew this. Like I never, nobody, didn't get an error or anything like that. So yeah, we're still emailing PDFs back and forth, and that alone is old technology. So yeah, and then there's tokenization in NFTs. It will definitely provide more liquidity and democratize investments. By that, in theory, it will open up to anybody who wants to own real estate, not just qualified investors. So, especially here in California. So that would be amazing if somebody could own a piece of a building downtown. And then of course, payment gateways. We're figuring that out again right now. We're enable users to pay in cryptocurrency. I'm sure these big guys are trying to figure that out too. So everybody's worried about disintermediation. I would not worry about that at all. We've always got, Zillow or somebody breathing down our backs trying to do something. There is a global MLS in the works. There's a couple actually. One of them is in the beta stage, but they're coming. And yeah, it's basically blockchain's answer to Zillow. The lenders, we can do lender matching on the blockchain. They've got to be able to compete. We're not going to go away, but our roles are definitely changing. I mean, they're changing right now, with COVID and all that. But it's the days of putting buyers in our car and driving around all day long, those are gone. But it's a good thing because things everything's immediate now. Everything's online, and people are buying stuff sight unseen. So but again, we're 2 to 4 years out. Probably even more than that from seeing any real change, because real estate is very slow to adopt, as we know. So so here's a poll. I'm putting together continuing education, blockchain at Pepperdine. They have their own courses there, and you can actually get certified. And there's other places that we're looking at continuing education. But if we were to offer this more in depth, I know I just threw so much information at you, but I would love to know like what you would like to see. Like if you could get credit for this, what would be on your curriculum? Anyone? I can't see the chat.
I can see chat, but I don't see anything. Hold on. I don't see anything in there right now.
Okay. Well, think about it and email me. I spoke really fast because I was afraid of time.
You killed it. You did really well. We have a lot of time for comments at this point.
Oh, good. Okay,
and
great.
Questions.
I'm going to put it, let's see, is that all? Yeah. Here's all the resources for you. And then, my social handles and all that stuff if you want to contact me.
I can actually start off with the first question.
Yeah.
When it comes to purchasing property with cryptocurrency, as far as title goes, would it be like a CLTA policy or ALTA policy?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. And you're talking wallet to wallet?
Well, see, the wallet to wallet better than I, but I think if I was representing a buyer, I would just want to make sure that, title and everything is correct and current and updated. So do we ask for a CLTA just because it's a bit more comprehensive?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's still at the end of the day, it's still, whether it's wallet to wallet or Bitcoin to cash or whatever, it's, it's going to be up to the buyer. I don't think the mode of, or the currency has anything to do with that, honestly, because it's not like it's going to come back. That's not going to come back and bite you. It's going to be, the crazy, long lost aunt that's going to show up at your door and say, oh, by the way, this is my house. Nobody knew about it. So it's really, I don't really have an answer for that. And, it's kind of just up to the buyer,
what they want. And typically they're guided through their real estate agent.
Yeah, exactly.
And how about the DRE? Does the DRE get involved with this, or are there any particular regulations that the DRE imposes that we as real estate agents need to know about that we can help our clients with?
Not to my knowledge, and I have contacted them. So, because I want to be on the up and up. I'm actually trying to get some education, pushed through with them and with CAR and NAR and, so, but nobody's called me just yet.
And I want to do a special thank you to Sarah Lehman because she works at Glen Oaks Escrow and she's the one who introduced you and me.
Yes, that's right.
I know Glen Oaks is one of the companies that actually does crypto type of transactions. I'm just wondering what other escrow companies do you work with? And I think this type of transaction would be a little difficult for other companies that are not familiar with this. So who do you work with?
Right. Definitely Glen Oaks. And there's another company down here called Guarantee Escrow. And yeah, they're both are great. I think Glen Oaks charges a little bit more to do, you know, their transactions, and Guarantee doesn't. So, you know, there's that to consider as well.
Okay, and we actually have a question from JJ Wallach. JJ wants to know, how do you write page 1 of the car form? Do you put in an addendum? And for those of you on the call who are not real estate agents, the car form, we're talking about the RPA residential purchase agreement.
Yeah, I mean, I would just disclose that, you know, I would write it up, you know, as normal, like a cash transaction. But then, yeah, I mean, I would definitely put it in a, you know, see addendum 1 or whatever, that, you know, buyer will be paying in BTC or Bitcoin, you know, full amount, or however you want to word it. But yeah, I mean, I just disclose that, you know, that's where the funds are coming
on page 1. From. Okay, and then someone else wants to know, how is commission paid? Is that paid in crypto?
I always get that question. That's so funny. No, there's one brokerage, I believe, in Canada that pays that in crypto. But here in the States, I don't know of one, unless they're like a mom and pop or something. I'm hoping that, you know, Glenn Sanford, our CEO, is a big proponent of crypto. So, you know, maybe that's coming down the pike. I have no idea. But for my transactions, they all went through the brokerage, you know, and I got paid, you know, as you normally would. And then my 5th one, I was more of a consultant. And so I was helping an agent do this transaction. In fact, I mean, I basically did it all, but the buyer didn't want to give up her or his agent because she was like a relative or something. So anyway, so she got her commission, and then he paid me in crypto my consulting fee.
It's all negotiable, isn't it?
It is all negotiable. Yeah. There's just no way to settle in crypto, like through, you know, the escrow company's paying out. They don't have a way to settle just yet.
Just yet, not quite.
Just yet. Yeah.
Tell us about Propy though, because that's gaining more popularity. And I know some agents that actually use that. What is it? And I guess we should all be paying attention to it. At least the real estate agents on the call should.
Yes, pay attention, because so they've got a lot of like rollouts that are coming, but right now I use them for my transaction management and my offers management. They've got a really slick platform. It's so easy to use. I'm a big checklist person because, you know, paperwork gets scattered and whatever. And you can add people on to see your transaction. You can add on your TC, the lawyers, the buyers, whoever you want to see, and you can give them permission to see only certain things, which is great. And it's just a better way to keep track of the transaction. And they had it where you could list properties in crypto. They don't really have that right now. I think they're kind of tweaking that. But I should say, I am on the Alliance Committee, and whoever here is interested, we're doing a rollout of their token. And last I checked today, their token was at like $1.29. We're giving away like 1,000 tokens. We can only give them away. The stipulations, we can only give them away to licensed realtors. So, you know, so if you guys want tokens, let me know, you know, I can make it happen. But yeah, so Brandon, you're probably going to start seeing posts tonight. We're going to do like another 72-hour run where we're just, you know, give away all these tokens.
Okay, these are tokens with what? Tokens with Propy or?
Yeah, it's called the Pro token. Yeah, and I can't give away too much, but this token, it's gonna blow up at some point. Way back in, I think it was 2017, when everything just, you know, went crazy. It got up to like $18, I believe, and then, you know, of course everything went back down again. But they have big plans. Propy does. So I see this coin going to like, you know, 30, 40, maybe $50 at some point, you know. So I would take it, hold on to it, and, you know, see what happens.
That's a little bit of insider information for those of you that are on the call. Like you heard it here, okay?
Yeah.
And hopefully you're not going to end up like Martha Stewart, who had to go to jail because she had a little bit of insider information.
No, I'm just honestly, it's like we're supposed to be like we've been telegramming each other all day long about messaging and the digital assets and all this other stuff. It's like it's being rolled out like as we speak, but yeah.
And I appreciate that little back information. So
Absolutely.
is probably almost kind of like Glide. Like Glide is a newer technology that a lot of us have been introduced to, and the MLS itself has that type of record transaction. If you like type in all the information, it's there for you.
Yeah, it's similar but different. I mean, yeah, Glide is a platform and it's got these great features to it. I'm really surprised. I mean, if they were like blockchain based, they would rock it. But yeah, we were hoping to get some more car forms, that were native, to Crappie as well. But Glide just kind of came in and swept them all up. But yeah, it's very similar. They're both really great platforms.
Okay, cool. And then we do have some questions. Somebody wants to know, they said, I'm looking for an escrow to do cryptocurrency in LA. So Glen Oaks, can you provide information? So Sarah, if you wanted to jump on and put your contact information in there,
yes.
The agents on the call will know that you and your company actually does facilitate this, and you guys work directly with Piper. So you will be in good hands with Glen Oaks Escrow.
Absolutely. No, I love Joe. I love all those guys over there. So.
And then somebody else wants to know what exactly is needed to show proof of funds for a crypto purchase.
Well, I would, the thing that you got to do really is do a screenshot, so if they're holding, say, money on Coinbase or Gemini or something, you can do a screenshot. It'll have their portfolio, and then, their name in the corner, like you would, your bank account really. I would do a screenshot of that. You can't really get like a bank letter, but you can have like maybe a financial advisor or someone like write a letter for you, an attorney write a letter for you, verifying that yes, you've got this much in your portfolio and yada yada. So
I'd like to elaborate a little bit on that, because so basically what Piper's saying is there are platforms where you can have cryptocurrency. She mentioned Gemini, that is founded by the Winklevoss brothers, who were like, co-creators of Facebook. There's Coinbase, which is another popular one. And then there's BlockFi. There's probably
so many.
Yeah, but I was going to say there's probably a dozen of them that are credible and reputable. I have a friend who actually invested in blockchain or Bitcoin a while ago on an exchange that was through New Zealand, and that company went belly up. So like any money he invested was gone. So if you are investing money in crypto, you really need to go with a platform that is reputable. And when I say platform, really, it would be like a Prudential Investments or Fidelity Investments or a Charles Schwab. Those are the type of companies that you would want to put your money into. And it gets, instead of like converting it to a different currency, like a euro, it converts it into cryptocurrency, like a Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and like you said, there's banks, Cumberland, you have to have, I think, a net worth of 10 million. At least I think that's their bottom, so it's for your ultra high, not ultra, but, high net worth folks. So, and there's also, what was the other one? Nexo was good as well.
Someone that's reputable.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And then there's a whole other protocol when you can like protect your cryptocurrency and your account, but that's a whole other conversation for another time. It is relatively easy to get your crypto account hacked. It does not have the protection mechanism in like a Bank of America or Fidelity would have. So that's something else you need to like look out for.
Yeah, and you don't get that back. When it's gone, it's gone.
Exactly. Well, we actually have another question too. They want a little clarification because you did mention BitPay.
Yeah.
So is that the crypto to invest in, or what does it mean to have tokens? That's kind of an offshoot of what we were just talking about a little bit.
Okay, so BitPay is the payment processor. So they only accept we've got a couple of different conversations in that same question. So I'll tackle BitPay first. So BitPay is the payment processor. They accept Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum. And they take any of those coins and transfer it or convert it to cash and wire that to escrow, right? What was the second part of that? It was something about tokens.
What does it mean to have tokens?
Okay, so.
And when you talk about tokens, I guess different tokens have different values.
They do, yes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I need to make another slide for this, and thank you for that. I probably meant to, and I just didn't, but I gave a 6-hour course about all of this at the board last month. But so a cryptocurrency, I can spend, I can spend it on Overstock or Subway, like you mentioned, a token, and it's also interchangeable. Like, it's Bitcoin's a token, Ethereum is a token, it's a coin. It's kind of like semantics when it comes to that. But when you're talking like actual, like blockchain applications, I guess, for lack of a better word, it's a token is only native to that platform. So there are platforms out there like Burger King at one point had their own Whopper coin, right? So you could only spend this Whopper coin on a burger within the platform. You could earn points and then buy food.
So Burger King has their own tokens, is what you're saying?
They used to. Yeah, I mean, so a token would be like native to just that platform. Like you can't trade a Whopper coin anywhere else, right? It's not on Coin Market Cap. You can't trade it for Ethereum or whatever. But like a cryptocurrency, yes, you can. Like I can swap Ethereum for Bitcoin. I can swap Bitcoin for Litecoin. It's and I can spend it. I can buy earrings, and I can buy shoes. Houses.
Piper, what determines a coin's value? I mean, why is Bitcoin worth more than Ethereum? Why is X versus, why is Dogecoin that was started off as a joke and Shiba Inu is the face of that coin?
You gotta love that.
What is determining the values of these coins? What is
okay. So I can't speak for Doge. Elon Musk comes out and tweets Dogecoin, and everybody goes nuts and buys it. He tweets Bitcoin. Everybody goes, and it just like whatever. So what I can say, and I have my theories. Okay, so let's talk about all the altcoins. The altcoins, you have to look at if you're going to invest in any of this, look at the utility, like look at the tech behind it, okay? Like what they're doing, what the company's doing, read their white paper. It's so boring, but you got it. Like if you're really going to get into it, do the homework, but then you're like, aside from Dogecoin, because that doesn't count. But like, the big guys like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin is running rampant because it's the main one, right? It's the main one. It's like the gold compared to all the other precious metals, right? So all of these financial institutions, just in the last, 6-8 months have gotten on board with, yes, we're gonna accept cryptocurrency, we're gonna accept Bitcoin. So that spikes the price up a little bit. And the fact that there is FOMO with Bitcoin. There's like I said in the presentation, there's only 21 million total. And so once those are all in circulation, people are going to be buying them up, and that's going to jack the price up, right? Ethereum, I need to talk to people smarter than me on this, but the NFTs craze right now, they're smart contracts, right? And so those are all on the Ethereum blockchain, and Ethereum is just, and other than the fact that, everybody says Ethereum's going nuts. Oh, I should buy Ethereum, and so they just get on and, start buying it. That's jacking the price up as well. So, it's like a combination of things, I mean, when it's up, it's up.
And is it that Bitcoin Bitcoin, the rumor has it that the founder of Bitcoin is potentially not alive anymore, and that 60% of Bitcoin is uncirculated and has not been touched. Well, that's what I've been told. Is that?
I honestly, I don't know about that amount, like what, who's holding what, where. I mean, yeah, there's whales out there, that are hodling, and it's so Satoshi Nakamoto, we don't know if it's one person or a group of people or what, you got to watch Banking on Bitcoin. I think it's still on Netflix. I haven't seen it. I mean, I haven't watched it for a while, but look for it. It kind of gives you the history, and they interview the early like coders, of Bitcoin, and people that were just like a part of it and just taking orders from this anonymous person or people, and once this Satoshi Nakamoto felt like everything was to their liking, they just kind of disappeared. And so, we don't know. Like, I have no idea if they're alive or dead or what happened, and anybody who comes up and says, yeah, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto, like, don't believe them. It's just, I don't think that was the whole point.
And I'm sorry, I'm totally monopolizing the questions here. I have so many, but I promise this will be my last one.
No, this is good. It's all relevant.
So, with regards to, you mentioned obviously you had a client that purchased multiple properties with Bitcoin. When does the Bitcoin, or whichever cryptocurrency they choose to use, when does the rate lock? So when is it determined that, okay, you're purchasing this property at $3 million, you're going to use Bitcoin? Is the value of the Bitcoin determined? Are you locking the rate at Bitcoin at the opening of escrow, or is it during a certain point during escrow, or is it at, the valuation is at close of escrow? So what may have been, let's say your Bitcoin was at $20,000 a coin at the opening of escrow, and now it's $40,000 a coin at close of escrow.
Yeah,
property is costing you less money. So it's when is that determined? Is it locked in at some point?
Yes.
How does that
work? It's locked in when they hit send on that invoice that the escrow company sends. So like if you're sending the deposit, the initial deposit, say if it's $50,000 or whatever, you're going to send $50,000 in Bitcoin. That your buyer hits send, and at that point it's locked in. So it's not going to do anything after that. It like almost instantly becomes like frozen, and then it just gets converted to cash. So they're going to get their 50,000 no matter what. And yeah, if it does go up, say, they, whatever, what the balance is they owe at the close of escrow, that's going to be locked in as well with the invoice. But I will say my last client saw, it was at the beginning of 2018 when it started to kind of slowly go down from the 20,000 that it hit in December. He saw this trend. He's like, you know what? We've got 2 weeks left of escrow. Is it okay if I, just transfer the funds now, and then escrow can just hold it? And of course, we made that happen. So yeah, I mean, it was like, 16,000, and he, just transferred the rest of it. They held it. And I think by the close of escrow, it was down, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 from that too. I'd have to check, but yeah, I mean, he was smart to do that.
So it does vary. So close of escrow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, oh, my pleasure.
Well, Zoe Schulman from WFG Title has commented that Compass bought Glide.
Yep.
So I guess that's a newer transaction that's happened, which is really interesting because Zillow, I forget who Zillow has, but Zillow is really making a name for themselves in the industry as far as buying up different technological based companies that help support the real estate transaction.
Yeah.
And then you have CoStar and which is apartments.com, and the other website, I forget the name of it, that does commercial, LoopNet. Then you have that big entity right there. So it's interesting how certain companies are consolidating, and a lot of them right now are bringing in technologically based companies that can help with the transaction eventually that will probably be in the way of smart contracts and dealing with crypto.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't say that they're not talking about it. I know they're talking about it.
No, this is hot stuff, you guys, and this is cutting edge. And this almost kind of reminds me back in the day when like we started to do short sales. It's like short sales put real estate, upside down. It's like, how do we deal with this type of transaction? What are the rules? How do we deal with this? And it really took a little bit of education and going through the process, like the early adopters or like the pioneers going through the woods. Like, you kind of learn from the people ahead of you. So having Piper on to introduce us to this stuff to us is really, really important. And I'm glad everybody is on the call to understand, like, this is the future and the future is now.
Yeah, totally.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Please do.
I'm James. I'm a real estate agent. Here's my card, Keller Williams in Glendale. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
I tell you, I have a buyer for Bitcoin and he wants to go wallet to wallet. If you have any Bitcoins, he'll buy up to any quantity, million Bitcoins. And I would like to move my license. Maybe I can move it to Candace's office.
Or Piper. Yeah, Piper, did you say EXP, your president, is down with this?
He's like, yeah. He actually hopped on a Clubhouse call that we had a few weeks ago. It blew my mind. I had no idea that he was into crypto. So, yeah.
I'll be emailing you.
Please do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. We'll talk, and I can help you with your client, hopefully, and I don't know if a wallet to wallet is going to be possible right now, because there's not a lot of sellers out there that are going to take this, but that's going to balance out at some point. But we'll talk. We'll figure it out.
He'll buy 20 up to 1 million Bitcoins. So.
Okay. So he wants to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
He wants to buy.
They're about $50,000 each now, more or less.
Yeah. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get more information from you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I get calls like that too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We do have another call in the chat from Maria who asks, you, Piper, mentioned that you are a realtor and that we could buy Pro Token from you. Can you clarify this purchase?
No, I'm going to give them to you. So what you'll do, oh boy, how do I do this?
Is this through Propy?
This is through Propy, yeah. So I just want to make sure though. So we're giving away. So the deal is, I haven't even checked my. Obviously, I've been talking to you guys. So I haven't checked my Telegram lately. We're supposed to launch this like this evening, right? So follow me on social media. Okay, I'm at Piper Moretti on Instagram. I'm like the only Piper Moretti out there. I think there might be a few fake accounts, but you'll see the real one. But I'm going to post this stuff, and so I think the deal is for this 72-hour run up, it'll be $500 if you sign up with Propy. You'll get your Pro tokens, and then if you tag somebody else, you'll get another 500. So there's actually a Google form. There's a link that you've got to follow, and it goes to a Google form, and you've got to fill out your information. We got to verify that you've got a license and all that stuff. So just look for that and look for the link. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Or if I can get the link to the Google Doc and maybe send it out to Candace, and maybe Candace can send it out to you guys.
Is there a deadline for this?
It's gonna be 72 hours from whenever we launch it. So it's gonna be so if we launch it at like 7 p.m. tonight, it'll be 3 days from now. So it'll end.
So we have over the weekend.
Yeah, you got over the weekend. Yeah, you've got plenty of time.
Yeah, anybody either message David or myself directly on that, because it's kind of hard. We don't know everybody who's necessarily on the call. So if you want that information, text or email David and I will get that to you.
Yeah, I will. I'll make sure that I'll give explicit instructions with the link, what you got to do and all that stuff. So no worries, but yeah.
And to clarify, yes, Piper Moretti does work as a agent, broker, realtor with EXP, and she is the CEO of her own company or her own team, the Crypto Realty Group. Somebody writes, or Laura wrote to James, she has a client that wants to sell their house in Bitcoin. So what I'm guessing from that, Laura, is that you have a client who wants to sell their home and they are open to accepting Bitcoin as payment. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? I mean, we're past 6 o'clock. We've learned a lot today. Anything else?
For hours, frankly, but Piper has a life to get back to, so we won't keep her too long. But yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, it's a multifaceted topic. Reach out to David, myself, Piper, Sarah, if you guys have any questions on anything that you heard today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It was
Okay.
fun.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Happy 1-year anniversary.
Thank you.
Okay.
Somebody signs up. Congress usually has a question. Mr. Sloan.
Thank you.
Nobody ever answered your question though, which was, what would you like to see in a continuing education class? And I think we probably all need the intro. And then I think there are people here like lots of real estate types. And so it's specific to how real estate types deal with Bitcoin and buyers that want to use it. Actually, even a seller that wants to try receiving it. Although
Yeah.
I can't figure out why, but whatever.
I understand. I totally understand. Okay. No, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm out.
Good night,
Take
George.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Luego.
Now, Natalie does, okay, this is a good question for Natalie, but I think I want
Okay.
Piper on the conversation so the two of you can kind of like hash this out. So if
Sure.
somebody were to buy a property in crypto, let's say Bitcoin, say they wanted to do like 50% crypto and 50% loan. Natalie, have you dealt with that before at Movement Mortgage and or Piper? How's those transactions been done? But I'll start with Natalie first.
So yes, we have. We need it totally liquidated. Yeah. So I don't know. Have you found that you don't have to? I mean, for a lender, we need there to be an actual down payment. We need there to be actual equity in the property if we're going to lend against it for standard lending.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And I've done it. I had a guy liquidate 500,000 of his Bitcoin. He showed us a statement. He showed us the problem with Bitcoin, as I'm sure you've mentioned, is normally there isn't like an account with a name. It's based on a number. You're a
Sometimes,
number,
yeah.
right? At least my guy was. He was just a
Yeah.
number. So we had a little bit of a problem getting a statement that showed that it was his. Like, is there proof that shows it's
Right.
actually yours?
Right.
And he kept printing us stuff, and we were like, "There's nothing on here. This could be mine." Like, how do we know? But he was able to, because he was able to. How we tracked it is he was able to liquidate the exact amount. We saw the liquidation of the exact amount, and we tracked it based on that exact amount going into his bank statement, and we saw
Perfect.
that.
Hey,
And that was that.
And I'm glad that, people like you were around to be open enough to, work with him for something like that.
Totally, it's his money.
Yeah.
It's his money.
Yeah.
So he just took it out of one account, put it into another, and bought a house, and we gave him 50%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, see, Natalie works with Movement Mortgage and they're a mortgage lender, mortgage broker.
Yes.
I wonder if we could do that type of transaction like with a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America.
I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't
don't know.
try it.
Yeah.
You can try.
Like
Yeah. I mean,
Chase.
Bank of America is on board with crypto. I mean, that's, part of the reason why the big run up is happening. But yeah, I mean, they're like these big banks are getting on board. Now that doesn't mean anything, when some guy wants to come and buy a house, I don't know what that means. It's like, are they just going to be investing in it? Are they going to make that part of their portfolio? It's like, I just, as far as payments, I have no idea. So.
A couple more questions. Someone wants to know if they could please have a recording. The
Yes.
short answer is yes, and both David and I will have that linked on our Facebook page. So go to David Lucan or Candace Kintopian, Candace Sells LA. And then somebody else wants to know, how does purchasing with crypto reflect different for paying taxes or on taxes? How is that?
Oh, there's capital gains. Yeah, there's capital gains involved. I mean, you know, it doesn't, you know, you just have to have a really good accountant, I think. But no, I mean, if you, that's the problem. You know, that's a main problem. There's, you know, if you, you know, put in at, you know, 20,000 and you cashed out at 50, you know, and you bought a house with it, you know, the IRS wants their portion.
Their portion, yeah. That was part of his, when he cashed out 50%, he knew he had to save some because he knew he was going to owe taxes on it. I mean, he bought crypto 10 years ago or something and had an unbelievable amount of it and was very easily cashed out, very easily, 750,000, and knew that he was going to owe, like he had invested so little and it made 750. So he was holding like 200 grand because he had a feeling that's what he was going to owe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he bought a house, you know, and his investment was small.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the same with, you know, all the people that I've dealt with so far. But yeah, I mean, I get calls from, you know, people who are, like I said, they're kind of new at it, you know, and all of a sudden they've got all this money and they're like, wait, I might have enough for a down payment. Can I do that? You know, and I do have, actually, I was with KW for like a hot minute a few years ago. And Movement Mortgage, our guy down here was like, yeah, we can do that. We'll you know, make that work. So, you know, I mean, I've been told, yes, I haven't done it yet, but I've been told, yeah, we can do a down payment and then, you know, finance the rest. So.
Yes, I've done it a few times. It's incredible. Awesome. It's the most amazing.
Great. It's so much fun. It's fun.
I know. I have just a funny, like, so I have a portfolio advisor for my money and stuff. And he is always like, don't put your money in real estate, Natalie, put it in the market, blah, blah, blah. And about 6 months ago or so, when Candace and I were talking, I had spoken to him and I was like, listen, mortgages are crazy. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this money. Where should I put it? And for the first time, he was like, you know, you should think about crypto. I was shocked. I was like,
oh my God.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
And he said, you should think about crypto. I'm going to start doing it. I can't help you with it because it has nothing to do with me. He's like with Ameriprise, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. My financial advisor he's not on board yet. He thinks I'm nuts. You know, I'm like, oh.
He said something like, the moment Costco takes part of crypto, we're done.
Yes.
He said they're in talks.
I haven't even thought about that yet. Oh my God, he's so right.
He said the moment Costco is going to take part and you can pay with crypto at Costco, that's it.
That's so awesome.
Well, just yesterday I was on the phone with somebody.
What?
I forget who I was on the phone with yesterday, but a friend, and they were talking about how Costco does funerals. Mm-hmm. I know they have engagement rings. I've heard they do funerals. You know,
they do mortgages. They do mortgages. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think I might have heard that. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The world has changed, people, and this is just part of the conversations that we like to have in order to keep people like informed and educated, just so you know what your options are as we move forward into the future, because it's just changing and accelerating at a rapid pace. And we're here to support each other and share information and resources.
Did you know
love what you're doing?
Costco is the largest wine purchaser in the world?
They have very good wines, by the way.
They do.
I'm impressed and surprised.
Yeah.
And also, of course, I think everyone knows this, but Costco is the #1 toilet paper supplier in the world. In the world. Yep.
Because you can get it in, like, I buy all my toilet paper at Costco. You know, it's like, I
How-
won't buy it. It's good stuff.
Why wouldn't
and-
you?
Yeah, and I have like a 6-month supply. So why not? You know, I hate buying toilet
Totally.
paper.
Well,
Yeah.
Natalie, did you want to comment on mortgages and where we're at this week as far as rates go? I mean, we're past 6:15 and just want to kind of wrap this up as we want to keep everything on
Totally.
time.
I'll keep it real quick, guys. Rates are great. We're coming back down a little. We had pushed up into the low threes, almost mid threes, like for a week. And we're back down. I've got 2.99 again. So we're seeing the high twos again. One financial analyst I know says that we're going to be back into the mid twos. And then another that I spoke to said that the Fed is reneging on the fact that they're not going to raise rates till 2023 and thinks that they're going to. So we'll see how that looks next year. Probably not this year, but there's a possibility that they will next year. So who knows where they're going to stay. Right now, they're great though. And obviously all of our buyers know that. And that's why we're in the market that we're in. Just quickly for me, we are back to standard turn times at Movement. So I got a file that was with B of A for 29 days, no approval. Came to me on a Thursday night. I reviewed everything Friday. I sent it quickly to an underwriter on Friday morning. The underwriter said, we're good. And sorry, somebody.
You're mute now. Unmute.
Natalie, you're muted. You have
She
to-
looks gone. She needs to pop up again.
Hold on.
She might have disconnected herself.
No, she's around, I'm sure. Maybe.
Well, in the meantime,
Hmm. Oh, there you go. Okay. Bummer. Natalie, are you there? I guess. Wow.
In the meantime, I think I'll go out and buy some Dogecoin. Oh, you're celebrating?
oh, yes, I am. Did you see that? That just went so quickly, even I didn't see it.
All right. I saw. it.
Dogecoin, let's talk
All right.
Dogecoin. What's
Have a
your
good
question?
evening. Happy 1-year anniversary.
Thank
I hope you'll be able to turn 2 someday.
Yes, we
If
will.
we've come this far, Boo, we're gonna do it.
All right, good. Bye, everybody, and thank you, Piper.
My
Very,
pleasure. Thank you guys.
very overwhelming, I guess.
It is. I told you. I warned you.
Thanks, Piper.
All right. Thank you
Great
so much.
presentation.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I could be on the call next week because I'm actually going to be in Miami for a dinner that's hosted by Safe Dean Amos, and it's all part of like Bitcoin 2021. It's a conference, an annual conference. It's being held in Miami. So I will be there, and I was hoping and thinking I can like get somebody, and if I can, I will, you know, like do a little remote Q&A with somebody, but there's a dinner that I'm invited to that is the exact same time that our call takes place. So if I cannot join you next week, I apologize. And in a perfect world, I'll like get the first 10 minutes and just kind of introduce you to somebody that knows more than all of us, and they can share and impart their information. Baby's going to Miami. Woo-woo!
When are you going?
Awesome.
Safe travel.
Thank you.
Fun now.
Piper, are you going? I'm sure you've heard about it.
About what, the Bitcoin conference?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'm
Oh my
actually
God,
spending
I'm
a whole
going
week.
too.
Yeah,
Where are you going? Where are you staying?
I think I'm staying, I haven't nailed that down yet. I think I'm staying at the Fontainebleau. I'm not sure.
I'll visit you there. That fucking, excuse my language. That hotel has quite a history, which I will.
That's it. Yeah,
Oh my
I was
God.
talking to my friend in Miami, and so yeah, so
Wow.
that's not nailed down yet. But we're doing a satellite event on the 3rd. I'll send you a link.
On the 3rd?
Yeah, and it's all about Bitcoin, blockchain, and crypto or real estate. So yeah.
Well, if
On the
that's
3rd,
third, that's
shoot.
Thursday. I mean, can we present that through our live at 5, potentially at like 5 o'clock Pacific time?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I think that would be super interesting. We'll try to coordinate. I mean, if we
Yeah.
could do another thing on Bitcoin while I'm remotely in Miami, that would be kind of awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah. We're having a whole, we already have like, I don't know what the count is today, but as of yesterday, we have to find a new venue because we have like 30 people. The Regis over
31.
there. 31.
31.
It's free. Come join, you know, and I've got myself and Susie Truax, who's a big blockchain advocate. She's brilliant with that. And then her son, who's just a savant with crypto and all that. We're going to be talking about, and we've got an attorney there that's going to be talking about NFTs. It's going to be like a 3-hour free event. So
What
yeah.
time? What time? I'm just
2
trying to think.
5.
2 to 5
Here,
Eastern
you know what? I have
time.
the link.
Eastern time?
Yes.
Because like maybe we can like simulcast that with live at 5 and we kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And it's just like,
Candace,
Here, I just sent the link to you in the chat.
okay.
did you mean next month? Not
Next month. Yeah, it's on the 3rd.
Yeah, next month, June 3rd.
All right, just wanted to clarify.
I'll be in Miami. I'm going to Safe Dean's dinner. Do you know Safe Dean Amos?
No, I do not.
I'm
What's
going-
that? I'm back, guys. Sorry. What's that, Candace?
Oh, it's okay. Next, the first Thursday, June, it's really June 4th and 5th, but the pre-parties and pre-dinners start on June 3rd. There's the Bitcoin conference that's going to be held in Miami. And then just everybody that is anything involved with crypto will be there. I will be there. Piper's going to be there. So what we're trying to figure out is she is hosting a kind of like a workshop. And if we could simulcast that with live at 5, that would be amazing.
That would
Because like 5 o'clock
Oh,
Pacific time,
cool.
6 o'clock Eastern time. So I don't know if that's going to work, but
It could be like a special edition or something. I don't
We're
know.
gonna-
Or
we'll
we could
figure
record
it
it
out.
and then put it back up or something. You know, I'm sure it'll be
We'll figure it
recorded.
out.
Yeah.
We'll make your content available to our people
Absolutely. Yeah.
one way or the other.
All right, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Happy
Thank you.
first anniversary.
Happy first
I
anniversary.
don't have a lot left, but yes.
We love you all. Like really, we do.
Have a good night.
All right. Good
Bye,
seeing you.
everybody. Really great meeting you.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Piper.
Thank you.
Natalie, the hair looks good.
Oh, thanks.
I noticed.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. Good night, you guys.
Kenichi.
Good night, everyone. So nice to see you.
Akiko.